This is another episode of The Feed, and today I am joined by the fastest man you may not have met yet. We are bringing to the show today none other than Bob Tasca. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the conversation because he is busier than I am, and we want to get this show on the road. Bob, what is going on today?
Well, we're excited to be here at Pomona, California, getting ready for our second race of the season. I just got done talking to 3,000 high schoolers about the opportunities of becoming a Ford technician. We're here with a bunch of dealers out in Southern California that are meeting with the kids now. The guys got the race cars out, getting ready to get them set up for tonight's run at 5 o'clock. So a whole lot of stuff going on, but glad to have a little bit of time here to talk to the Auto Alert team.
Awesome. I know it's race day. I know it's busy out there, but what's keeping the team motivated? You guys got some music blasting with the cars out. What do you do to get the team going?
It's pretty easy to motivate the team after we just got done running 341 miles per hour last month. Fastest run in the history of the sport, fastest man on the planet on four wheels. So when you got a race car running as good as our car's running, the guys are just excited to get out there and try to do it again. So tonight will be a big run, and we got a couple runs tomorrow and eliminations on Sunday.
Awesome. Yeah, it would be easy if I'm going over 340. You can probably have somebody run through a wall. Now, with that said, I know your team is really keen on the data. Like, how do we recreate that? How do we get that going again? So, tell the people how important having accurate data is, especially in a profession like yours.
Well, you can't manage a secret, right? So if the data's wrong, you're going to make wrong decisions. You have to have great data. We look at the data on our race car every time we run. We look at the data in our company, right? Every day, every month, trying to spot areas of opportunity, areas of concern, positive areas, things that we want to try to build on. So without data, you're essentially lost, whether it's business or racing.
I couldn't agree more. You know, before we dive into the deep end, because there's a deeper conversation I definitely want to have. Tell everybody how you got into cars and how you knew you were going to go fast.
Well, I was probably born into the car business. Not sure I had a choice. My grandfather and father, fortunately, ended up liking it, so that's a good thing. But I've been around cars my whole life. Grew up in a Ford dealership, Ford and Lincoln Mercury store, and I got into racing maybe a little later in life. I was always racing, whether it was go-karts or street Mustangs. But back in '08, so I wasn't that young back then, but we started to go nitro racing, alcohol racing, then nitro racing. And I was able to put together a platform that Ford, PPG, BG, all my sponsors, Auto Alert, that have been able to leverage and not only bring their logo on the side of the car, but also bring out dealers or customers, to the racetrack, and also, kind of lean into our group a little bit. We've been kind of a learning laboratory with some of the new products over the years with Auto Alert, just trying to help, I don't call them vendors, like it's our partners. Like Auto Alert is not a vendor of Tasca Automotive Group. They're our partner. And we work together, whether it's on new things that may work or may not work, or refining things that have worked really well over the years. And, it's just kind of good to be back to the good old days. I've kind of, had meetings with our team. COVID's over, the big grosses are gone, the inventories are back, the payments have dropped, and we got to go back to selling cars. And Auto Alert has always been a fixture for us. Maybe took a little bit of a back seat during the COVID years, but the bottom line is now things are back to the good old days. We're on it. Well, my brother really leads it up across our platform, and we're looking for that one car a day.
Absolutely. And, I know we're back, right? We're back to those good old days. How much does that, feeling of back to selling cars, how much does that align with just the Tasca mission? Like, as far as your group of stores, is that consistent through every store that you guys have? Is you guys are gaining steam, right? Every time I look up, we got another one.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm going to give the whole industry zero credit on our success for the last few years. I mean, us included. I mean, you didn't have to be that sophisticated to turn the lights on in the showroom, have no inventory, people paying over list price, and things were great, right?
Right.
We were all geniuses. Well, those days are over. So now I think the cream will rise to the top. The organizations, the teams, the leaders that really go back to basics. Blocking and tackling. Every up matters. Every customer matters. Working the BDCs, working auto alert. Data mining our databases. That's what we did when we had a win. Back in 17, 18, and 19, and we're going right back to that today, and we're ready for it. I know our organization, we meet about it, we talk about it frequently. We're fully focused on finding that next gear, that next level as we roll into 2024 and beyond.
Absolutely. So let's dive into it. Let's get into some of the minutia, because I think there's a cautionary tale that you can provide to the audience. What happens when you slack on not only auto alert and your data mining tool? What happens when you just kind of fall into the comfortability of the situation? I don't need any tools, like you mentioned it. We're all geniuses because circumstances, but what's the fallout from that?
Well, I mean, hey, listen, good times create bad habits. It's happened recently. You can turn the clock back 50 years. It happened back then as well. As times get more challenging, more difficult, then you got to start to look at everything. Your processes, what you were doing, not doing, what vendors got to go and what vendors do we have to double down on. And for us, Auto Alert is clearly one of those vendors you got to double down on, because you have to mine your database. I mean, it's absolutely a plethora of gold in there. Our service departments have grown through COVID, so we have more people coming through the shops, which is more opportunity. And you just need to. I just think it's a good time to press the reset button. You got to go back to those core fundamental basics, build out a plan, and go to work. I mean, there's no compromise for work ethic, and that's really going to be brought to the forefront in these next couple of years. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I can see it happening in a lot of stores I talk to, and the work, you just got to do the work. So when it comes to the auto alert platform, how do you and the managers keep this team using the tool? Because that's the key. You have to use it. So what is your go-to for your management to keep the feet to the fire?
Well, we have a couple different things. My brother at a high level is always mining the lowest hanging fruit, sending them out across the platform, and expecting answers. The managers, we ask it at the managers level. Listen, pick 5 or 6 a day. Don't overcomplicate it. Pick 5 or 6 a day, pass it out to the team, and let's try to get one out of the 5 or 6. Let's get one a day. And then the service is a whole nother opportunity. Knowing who's coming in, who's equity, having a game plan, being able to meet and greet those customers, whether it's an orphan owner and it's a new salesperson or it's an existing salesperson. For us, you just look at the fundamental elements of the product and you serve it up to us. Like literally, if you read, you can use Auto Alert. Like you don't take a lot of brain power to look at how you guys serve this data up, but it won't sell the car for you. Like it won't do that.
Yes.
So you got to take that data and you can go put it to work. And we do that. We do that in our company. We have some stores better than others, but it's an everyday type of deal.
Absolutely. If I could have you repeat that 16 times, I would. It's not going to sell itself. However,
No.
you are laid up. It's a silver platter. Every dealer in the country has been tasked with figuring out the service drive. It's not a secret. It is the conversation of every dealer meeting you're going to go to. What are you doing to win the service drive? Win the war on the service drive. What's some of the goals that you have at your stores? We know service drive is important, and you've already boosted how much activity you're already getting out there. What is the go-to strategy for a day in the life of service drive? Because we know there's going to be more customers back there.
To be honest with you, I don't think it's one shoe fits all. I think there's a lot of different ways you can attack the service drive. For us, we look at what you know in advance, you prepare in advance, right? So that's profound knowledge. We know who's coming in the day before. We know what situation they're in, equity, etc. and we know if it's an orphan owner or not. And then you gotta go meet and greet that customer. You gotta go meet and greet that customer. You gotta review the information with them. Maybe put them in a new vehicle as a loaner vehicle, whether they're waiting or not. But the more you prepare in advance, the easier that interaction will go. If you're doing it last minute, waiting for the phone to alert, run it out there, the customer's busy. To me, you won't be as successful. And trust me, I got a lot of stores that are very unsuccessful with it. I got others that are very successful with it. I mean, we're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But at the end of the day, I want one car a day. Like I want one incremental car a day with auto alert. If I do that times, 365 days a year, I'm gonna sell a lot of cars. And multiply it by 31 rooftops. There's a lot of business there. And to get that one car a day, you're gonna be kind of digging in all the buckets, not just service. You're gonna be looking at all the buckets. And if you do that consistently, I really believe that you'll find that one car a day.
Absolutely. You heard it from the man himself. Consistency is key. Nobody knows that better than you. With the way our platform's laid out, how easy is that conversation, right? Yes, you still got to show up. You have to be able to sell. You have to be able to just be able to, want to do the job. But once you say, all right, I'm going out to the service drive, I'm prepping before, how easy is that conversation? No matter the level of salesperson you are, whether you're new or you've been there 30 years.
Well, the conversation's easy if you put the time in to prepare yourself on what you're going to say. Like again, Auto Alert serves it up. Still got to take that information. You got to go maybe run some numbers. Double check the trade value, right? You want to get yourself grounded with the opportunity that you put a light on. You said, hey, a lot of people coming in today. These 3 people, you probably should take a really good look at. And if you do that and you walk out to that customer with a game plan, you're in a much better position to earn their business than if you're doing it like a fire drill, right? And that's what we preach to our company. And again, some do it very well in our stores, others struggle with it. It does come back to staffing. I always ask my managers, are you staffed to win? Like if you're trying to sell 150 cars a month and you have 6 salesmen, it is not going to happen. Forget auto alert, forget everything. You just can't handle the traffic, the natural traffic. So you have to make sure you're staffed properly. And if you're staffed properly, you're going to have salesmen that have time on their hands where they have to go to work. And that's where a tool like Auto Alert can be so effective.
100%. Now, because of what's happened over the last few years, there's a lot more options for our customers. How do you take advantage of that? Because some people see that as a catch-22, but I think we can leverage the fact that customers want choices. Insert mobile services, whether you're going to get the customer's car for service or delivering a vehicle after you go through the process. Hey, the deal's done. They just want us to bring them the car, or they want us to come get their car for some reason. How much do you leverage some of that at some of your stores?
Yeah, I mean, I think mobile is important to some people. I think other people could care less about it.
Okay.
As far as choice goes, they've always had choice. Like there's no surprise that there's a plethora of models and options and makes. I think you have to find out what's important to that customer. Like, don't play God. That customer maybe care less about mobile service. He wants to bring the car in, doesn't want you at their home, right? Some people would love that, would love mobile service. So, the needs assessment, how you approach a customer, how you understand what's important to them, what do they want to accomplish today, how they rate a car that they just drove on a scale of 1 to 10. They rated an 8. What would make it a 10? Is it just money? Is it color? I think all too often salesmen, play God, take shortcuts on the road to the sale, don't utilize the technology that's at their fingertips in many ways, and therefore don't sell the customer the car. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah. And we all have our struggles because the dealership's the wild, wild west on a daily basis. You don't know what you're going to get. You just got to prepare and go for it.
Yeah.
So from your scope, right, we're still at the top end of 2024. what would you say are some of the biggest challenges as a dealer? Like, hey, I have to think about all of these things. What are the top 2 or 3 challenges you think most dealers are figuring out?
Want my list? You want my list now?
Run it off
It's a
because
long.
yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, we're looking at inventories ballooning, front end grosses plummeting, volume kind of stagnant. Like we're seeing a little uptick, but nowhere near what I thought. Interest rates are high. The expense to run our dealerships have never been higher in the history of a car dealership. The expenses have never been higher. So trying to manage that expense. The EV bubble is bursting in a big way. The infrastructure, quite frankly, is not ready to support the products. It's a shame that I think that, I mean, if you want to blame everyone, blame the government, right? They put so much pressure on the OEMs to build electric vehicles, which they have. And by the way, there's some incredible products. Some of the best products I've ever driven are EVs, but you can't charge them. There's no network in place. So now that bubble's bursting, and we got these used cars coming back that quite frankly, who knows what they're worth. It's there's a lot of challenges. Now, if you try to focus on all of it, you can get overwhelmed, you can get distracted. For our company, we're laser focused on selling cars first and foremost. Nothing happens until we sell a car. We got to get back to selling cars, back to selling volume, manage gross as best we can. However, the marketplace will dictate that, but manage gross as best we can. Satisfy the customer, satisfy the customer, satisfy the customer. I mean, that's what we do. Sell a lot of cars, make a lot of people happy, and then we got to try to figure out how to make a profit, which is certainly a lot more challenging now than it's been for the last several years. I'm excited about it. These are the times where the smart guys and gals, we figure it out. We got to figure it out. And I feel very confident, believe in my team, got some of the best men and women I could ever ask to have around my family across the country at our stores. And I'm excited about, 2024. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely. Now, what do you say to the dealer that says, hey, we just can't sell. They don't have it. I have a different staff than I had in 2019. It's 2024. It's not the same caliber of guys. What do you say to that dealer? Where do they start? Because they still have the staff. I got bodies. I don't know if I got doers.
Yeah, if that's the dealer principal's attitude, they should probably think about selling, getting out, because it ain't going to get any easier. It's going to get more challenging. If you're not ready to dig in and go back to the good old days, then you should probably cash in the chips, because it's going to get harder before it gets easier. I'm not sure we'll ever see the COVID days again in my lifetime, but that doesn't mean this can't be a great business, great profitability. There's a lot of opportunities to grow, but you can't have the mindset that you can't find good people, you can't find salespeople. If you have that mindset, you've already lost.
Okay. So it's always got to start at leadership. You lead it.
Absolutely.
And then make them believe. If you can do it, they'll do it, right? Now, that's coming from Charles. That's what I think. I always hold management and leadership to a high standard because the people want to follow you. That's why we're here, right? We need objectives, we need orders. And in this instance, yeah, you can't sell right now. You still got to show up though. So start over. And that's why tools like Auto Alert exist. Hey, you want to know what to do? Start here. This person's in a position to buy another car from you with no money out of pocket. What do you want to do about it? How many of those can you handle if I just spoon feed those two? I don't want it to get complicated. Matter of fact, back to me.
No, I mean, those are all good points. I think, the tool or the Auto Alert tool for a new salesperson coming in. I mean, if you're a veteran salesman and you've been doing your job right, you basically answer the phone every day. I mean, you've got repeats, referrals. You're not digging an Auto Alert like some of the younger guys or gals coming in, no following, no customer base. What are they going to do, right? They're starting from fresh up, going through the door, and dive into Auto Alert. I mean, there is no greater tool than Auto Alert for a new salesperson coming in to mine opportunities, whether it be in service or simply in the database. There's plenty of tools for those that want to go to work, but like I said at the very beginning, it's work. Like that's what it is. People call it effort. They call it all this other stuff. It's work.
It's work.
And the more you put in, the more you'll get out. And I think you said work hard, play hard. Just make sure you're working harder than you play, because there's no compromise for great work ethic.
Absolutely. Now, what do you think the future holds for an organization and a partnership like Tasca and automotive? How great are things going to get towards the end of this year? Because I know you're ramping up. I know you got the team clicking on all cylinders.
Well, we're buying stores left and right. I don't know, maybe people think we're crazy, but we're buying a bunch of stores. I believe in the industry. I believe in our team, our process, a lot of our technology, how we use our technology, obviously auto alerts in every one of our stores. We're bullish. I'm bullish on the future. I mean, we're a growing company. We'll probably add 5 or 6 more stores this year. We'll be somewhere around 35 stores by the end of this year, selling, well over 40,000 retail cars a year. And it's a great business. I mean, I love the car business, born and raised in it, wouldn't do anything different. Very, fortunate to be partnered with companies like Auto Alert. It's a integral component of the variable side of our business. We expect our teams to use it. We measure it. We review it monthly at our variable report out calls. And like I said, it's back to the good old days. This is when we had to really dig into this data to move the inventory. And the inventory is here. It ain't going away. I mean, it's going to continue to ramp up, and we're going to have to figure out ways to sell it. Because if we don't sell a car, nothing happens.
That's right. So I'll kind of wrap up here. I want to get you back in the game, get you back with your team. What message do you have for dealers right now that they need to implement moving forward?
Back to the basics. Back to the basics. It's maximizing every customer every time. I mean, literally, I started my own companies a few years back. Yeah, sorry. Yep, that's the price. Take it or leave it. I mean, crazy. You just wouldn't even have imagined could happen. Those days are over. Probably never to return, quite frankly. And I don't know if I'm upset about it, because, it built a lot of bad habits. I'm excited about looking at our business, going back to the basics, maximizing every opportunity, leveraging our advertising, driving traffic to the BDCs, and winning the customer. Winning and losing is where I live, right? And you want to win that customer over, and tools like Auto Alert give you that opportunity, truthfully, to pluck that customer out of the market before they even thought they were in the market. And there's no easier sale than that, quite frankly. And Auto Alert is a great place to start, and we'll use it across our platform. Looking forward to a successful 2024 and beyond.
Absolutely. Well, Bob, I want to thank you again. Can't thank you enough for taking this time out. You go out there, you keep going fast, and hey, if you want to break your own record, I'm not going to be mad.
Yeah, listen, we're going to try to win Pomona. If we can run over 340 miles per hour again, we're certainly going to try. But always great to be on. We love Auto Alert. It's across our whole platform. Thanks. Thank you.